Hey guys, what's happening? So we're back for part 4 of the Wolverine Blood Hunt tie-in, where now we get to see if Wolverine's plan to intentionally become a vampire was a good idea or not so good idea. So with that said, if you're enjoying these videos, make sure to drop a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and don't forget to hit that bell up top to get all notifications so we can squad up in the comments for the first hour. Alright, so coming back, we pick up at Maverick's secret underground base, not long after Wolverine was just turned, where now Alyssa set her sights on him to stand by her side instead of Maverick. Because prior to this point, Alyssa turned Maverick and brought him in, because she had this ambitious plan of building a vampire army to overthrow Blade after the Avengers wear him out so she could take over as the new vampire queen. So to see this through, she brought in Maverick to bring her Wolverine so that he could lead this army for her. Though what she didn't expect was for Wolverine to show up as a vampire, because she thought that was impossible. But now seeing that he is, Alyssa's decided to change her plans, because prior to this she also promised Maverick that he would be her king and stand by her side. But after seeing Vampire Wolverine, she's quickly changed her mind, because now she wants Logan to fill that position. So as Maverick tries to recruit Wolverine, Alyssa gets in Logan's head, much like she did with Maverick before, because now she's clouding his thoughts and telling him not to even listen to Maverick. But at the same time, she's not completely unfair with it, because as Maverick's telling Wolverine how he passed every test just to make it here, Alyssa's just like, oh yeah, how about one more? How about the two of you guys have a fight to the death, and whoever wins that, they will rule as the new king of the vampires, which is kind of a funny prize because she's promising them something she ain't even got yet. Because the full scope of this position is based on her defeating the Lord of the Vampires by way of using the help of whoever wins this death match, which is kind of messed up. But at the same time, neither of these guys are thinking clearly, because now they've both been manipulated by Alyssa to some extent. But while this is going on, for a moment here we jump over to Luis, aka Night Guard, who is over to the side watching this conversation play out. But like we saw before, Maverick and Alyssa, they don't know Luis is here. So as part of Logan's plan, he's told her to find the heart of the vampire compound and put a stake through it while he's dealing with Maverick. And I mean, of course, Wolverine meant that as like a figure of speech, because it's not like he meant one of those huge Hulk heart-piercing stakes like we saw in the Hulk Blood Hunt tie-in, because that was ridiculous. But instead, he just wants Luis to destroy Maverick's base of operations, so that way Maverick won't have this huge army backing him. But not long after she finds it, she runs into more of Maverick's men. So for a moment here, she's got to deviate from the plan and take these guys out. But meanwhile, when we go back over to the Vampire Wolverine versus Vampire Maverick deathmatch, first, keep in mind Wolverine's plan's not playing out exactly the way he thought it would, because he wasn't expecting Alyssa to have her voice in his head, compelling him to do whatever she asked. And it's not like she's in complete control of him, though at the same time, seeing Wolverine destroy the Halo gun, that part kind of feels like it's sending a message, like a PlayStation versus Xbox thing. And I mean, I'm joking, but I do want to say a lot of you guys pointed out to me in the other video, because a ton of you were like, yo, is Maverick using the gun from Halo? And I had to go look because I haven't played a ton of Halo. And when I checked it out, I was like, yeah, it does look like a bit of a mixture between their assault rifle and the battle rifle. Though I'm not really sure what they're called in the games, you guys can let me know in the comments. But yeah, as it would seem, we're getting Halo references in both Wolverine and Deadpool comics. But yeah, getting back to the death match at hand here. On Maverick's end, initially he feels betrayed. So for a second here, I'm surprised he didn't quote Anakin Skywalker on some, you brought him here to kill me. Cause this death match, it's just not right. Maverick didn't sign up for this. But then it's not too long before his thoughts start to clear up, because now Alyssa's in Logan's head, not his. And it's not one of those things like Magneto where Maverick's helmet can keep her thoughts out, and I'm not really sure how that would work since Maverick's helmet doesn't cover his whole head. Perhaps every other word would come through or something? No, but I gotta say I'm joking because people will think I'm serious. But the thing is with Alyssa, her telepathy, which is mainly used by way of hypnotism, it's much lower level than someone like Jean Grey, Charles Xavier, or Emma Frost. But instead it's more like your classic vampire compulsion. So now it's starting to wear off with Maverick since she's no longer focused on him. But even with Maverick starting to realize what's happening here, he doesn't get the chance just yet to try to speak reason to Wolverine, because trying to start a conversation in the middle of a fight will get you punched in the face. But even still, this causes the part of Logan that is still him, that's still there, to recognize Maverick just a little in this moment because he knows Maverick's not one to whine and complain. So as the fight continues, Logan's like, let me take a guess at what's eating you. And he tells Maverick, you thought you found the one, someone you can love more than yourself. You know, the whole cross your heart, hope to die thing, only to find out you've been fooling yourself all along. And Maverick tells him he's right. And he tells Logan, I got fooled by her, just like she's fooling you. Which makes Logan put away the claws for a moment and think about it, because Wolverine considers Maverick to be a friend. Sorta. But Alyssa doesn't let this go for long before she steps in and doubles down on her mind tricks by telling Wolverine that Maverick's lying, he's only jealous, and all of this is him trying to mess with Wolverine's head. But just before Logan can kill him, the command center alarm goes off, giving Maverick the perfect opportunity to get up out of there. So following this, Logan just goes with Alyssa, and they make their way to the command center, where as it turns out, one of Maverick's men slipped past Night Guard and he hit the alarm. So as you would expect, she takes care of this loose end, quick, fast, and in a hurry. But before she can get back to the plan, which was tearing this place apart, Alyssa comes back with Wolverine. And then as soon as they get there, Alyssa tells Logan this intruder they found is competing for his affection. So of course, Alyssa sends Wolverine to get rid of the competition. But Luis is able to quickly move out the way and just trip him up. And for a moment here, when Alyssa tells Luis something along the lines of like, oh, that was impressive, or better yet, excellent reflexes, because not many are able to avoid such an attack from Wolverine. It really just has me thinking about how whenever we have these instances when someone's mind controlled and they're able to fight it even in the slightest, whenever that happens, it's not like that person's at 100%. They're gonna be slower, even if it's a little bit. So I just gotta put that out there for somebody jumps in the comments like, how did she trip Wolverine? He's impervious to trips. Though I will say if a regular person tried to trip Wolverine, you'd probably break your leg. But nonetheless, Luis calls out Alyssa because she knows who she is, and she knows Wolverine is under her control. And the only way she can break that control is by turning Wolverine's healing factor back on. So to do this, she runs her UV sword right through him to kickstart his healing factor into overdrive, so Logan can get back to being his regular self. So of course, when Alyssa sees this happen, she doesn't like it one bit, because prior to this, Maverick already got away, and now Night Guard's taking Wolverine from her. So next, Alyssa goes after Luis like she's ready to kill her. Meanwhile, with Wolverine, who's over off to the side, he's still got that UV sword in him, but given the fact that Luis is tied up at the moment, he's left to pull it out himself before it's too late. Because it's almost like there's this dilemma to where, had he left her sword in too long, he could have died as a vampire before his healing factor had the chance to come back, which is a really interesting thing to tease here. Meanwhile, back over with Luis, at this point, Alyssa's now trying to convince her to join her vampire army. And as it turns out, this isn't so much of an invitation as it is a setup for Alyssa to use her hypnotism on Luis. But thankfully, Luis knows better than to fall for this because of her training in Otherworld. So instead, she takes this opportunity to pull out one of her stakes and drive it right through Alyssa's heart. And I gotta say, this was a twist that I did not see coming. Cause I mean, it's not like Alyssa is this huge character by any means, but she's been around for a while, since like the death of Dracula issue 1 back in 2010. So yeah, this kind of feels like a big deal. But following this, after she gets all dusty, Maverick comes back. And at first, Wolverine's ready to go at his neck. Cause throughout the events that took place, Maverick threw away a lot of good men. And Wolverine wants to know why. So Maverick tells him he did it for love. Alyssa came to him, offered him a job, then turned him, only to then fill his head with all these lies about how she loved him and how they would rule together. And Maverick liked those lies. And that's a truth that Logan knows all too well. So Luis tells him to just let Maverick go, because now that Alyssa's dead, the curse is broken and Maverick's human again. So as it stands in the here and now, they're done with all the monsters. And following this, we're also given an epilogue, where now Logan and Luis are topside of Maverick's island base, where at this time Logan gives Jeff Bannister the update, as far as how this all played out, with Alyssa getting dusted and Maverick in the wind. So in return, Bannister gives Logan an update, as far as what's going on in Bloodhunt, and he tells him it looks like the heroes are turning the tide. So as they speak, Bannister's got a chopper heading out to pick up Logan, and take him to the fight so he can help the heroes out. But following this phone call, we see a brief conversation between Logan and Luis, where now she lets him know that she's got to get back to Zavala, because the longer she stays here, the harder it is to resist her vampiric urges. But also while they're having this talk, there's a moment here where Luis tells Logan not to be too hard on Maverick, because Alyssa was in Logan's head too. But for Logan, he doesn't have a problem with Mav, but instead it's what Maverick said about liking those pretty lies. because he knew exactly what Mav was talking about. And just before Louise gets ready to go, she tells Logan how it's ironic that the name of this island, Santa Cruz, means Holy Cross. So he tells her, yeah, it's about as ironic as a vampire who calls herself Night Guard, wearing a giant cross and hunting other vampires. And I mean, she can't say nothing to that except touche. And just before Louise leaves, she asks Logan for one more kiss, because she knows she's not going to be seen in another series for a good minute after this. And so now real quick, I want to give a special shout out to all the patrons. Thank you guys for all of your support. And for anyone who's new here who wants more information on how to support the channel, I got a link below where you can go to patreon.com/dopespill. But that'll do it for this one, guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and we'll do it again on the next one. Alright, later.